Are you ready to get hot and spicy with me on this fine Sunday? Good. Then we'll begin. Hello and happy Sunday everyone. I hope you're all doing very, very well. These weeks are just rolling into one for me. I don't know about yourself, but Sunday just keeps coming and we are edging ever closer to that wonderful 60th anniversary special, all three of them. So in sort of celebration of that, I wanted to have a bit of a fun video because this is in no way going to be a negative one, but I wanted to sort of have a chat with you and see what sort of takes you had, anything that was hot, anything that was spicy. I wanted to really get into the nitty gritty of and sort of see what you said. So I did put a post up on Twitter a few days ago asking for those, and I got quite a few responses which I will try and get through. I'm sorry if I didn't get to yours, but I promise I have read it. But the ones that I have got are fantastic and I really, really want to get into them. But before I do, if you can do me a fabulous favour and make sure you click that subscribe button, always pop it down here somewhere. And while you're at it, click the like button too. It will just really, really helps with the algorithm, and I like to know that people actually don't mind these videos or actually quite enjoy them. Maybe, who knows? We'll see. I'm currently at 775 of you guys and I've got 225 left. The maths is getting better. So that if you can do that, then I will hit that magic number of 1,000, which is my goal that I'll have by the start of 2024. I think that's the time I gave myself. So 225 of you guys to meet. You're a massive part of that, and if you can do that for me, that would be great. It is free, it's costing you absolutely nothing, and it's really helping me in the process, which I do appreciate. So yeah, if you can do that for me, that'd be wonderful. Also, while you're at it, go ahead and follow me. I'll put it down here somewhere as well, to follow me on Twitter or X or whatever it's called nowadays. God, I sound so old when I say things like that. I'm turning into my mother. There's a fly in here somewhere. Where are you? I can't even see it once it flies off. Oi, go away. But I am at Geek Rambles, so that you can get involved in these kind of videos and we can meet, have a good chat. I do like to be nice and interactive on there, so it'd be great to see you. Anyway, moving swiftly on, I'm not going to preamble or ramble or whatever it is that I do, because I notice that I take up a lot of time in these just talking absolute nonsense. So we'll get straight into it. First up is a Golden Age Geek who says, Rose Tyler is a trash person and emotionally abused... Oh, wow, yeah, that is... Yeah, okay, we'll go again. Rose Tyler is a trash person who emotionally abused Mickey and didn't even care. Yes, totally true. I agree with you on all counts. When I was younger, I used to love Rose. She was the first companion for me, with the first Doctor that I ever met or watched. So it was nice to have a girl that was relatively young who was really streetwise and, you know, had a good bit about her, and she didn't deal with nonsense. I really liked that about her. But what I didn't like was, yeah, with Mickey, she just brushed him aside like he was nothing. And I know that it was brought up in Boomtown, rather, I think it was, where he said, you know, you kissed me on the cheek, you left and you made me feel like nothing. I was nothing to you. And whilst I appreciate that Mickey had his own thing in the end where he left Rose to her own devices and was just like, yeah, we're not working. I think it was in School Reunion when I realised actually you're not a good person. At least on a rewatch anyway, I realised that. And I think it's when Sarah Jane says to the Doctor, you need a Smith on board, and Mickey's like, yeah, can I come? It'd be great. And you just see Rose in the background like, no. Which I found odd. So yeah, she's not a nice person, I don't think, and she's got some good qualities. Oh God, I wish I'd done my nails before I did this video. She's got some good qualities, but she's yeah. Some people love her, and that's great, and I was one of them. I still am to a certain extent, but yeah, just that didn't sit well with me. Okay, and then Rob Dinosaur Bites says, second one up, the Weeping Angels were fantastic in their first outing Blink. Everything since then has only diminished that story's impact, though granted, I've not engaged in much of their expanded media outings. Again, one I completely agree with. I love the Weeping Angels. I remember when I first saw them on screen and thought that they were the most terrifying things on the planet or in the universe, because the whole concept was brand new. The whole concept was something that I'd never seen or thought of before, or, it wasn't your standard monster. These guys have a genuine motive. It's how they survive. And the fact that they don't kill you, but they take you back to a time and then you just live to death, I think is what the doctor said. It's great, but it's the way they move. The fact that you can't blink and that's it. If you did, you may as well kiss your life goodbye at that moment. It's wonderful. But you're right. I never wanted to see them on a planet, the planet of the angels or whatever it was called. I don't even know. It probably wasn't even their planet, but I didn't like it. And I didn't like the fact that they spoke through someone. The whole mystery of them is that they can't communicate in the way that we do. There's no noise. It's basically, they're just super quick and they'll kill you. One thing I did like about them is when they had almost like a battery farm in The Angels Take Manhattan. The Statue of Liberty is something I'm not even going to touch on, but other than that, the fact that they have like recycled people, for want of a better word or phrase, where they literally will just keep draining their life source, I quite liked that, because it was quite terrifying, almost a bit like The Shining or 1408, where you just can't escape this room. That's quite terrifying to me. But to have ones where, the image of an angel becomes itself an angel, it just became a bit too much with the angels. And while I still love them as a villain or as a monster, the time of angels, oh God, that wasn't planned. The time of angels, that they're kind of done for me. And I don't really want to see them back. Thank you. Jack at Nerden, you said spooked, and it's because the time I've done this, everyone does their Halloween names. I don't have my own Halloween name. I'm gutted about it, but it's fine. We move. But Jack says that Christopher Eccleston's Doctor deserved only one series. The amount of screen time he got was perfect to show him getting over his guilt from the Time War, and he slowly became the Doctor again. Any longer would have potentially ruined the Incarnation's journey, in my opinion. Now, I love Christopher Eccleston, and I remember just how gutted I was when he left and went and regenerated into Tennant, and thinking that Tennant was the worst person on the planet, or not Tennant, of course, to play the Doctor. No, it was about Tennant, which is hilarious because then I ended up loving him. Anywho, I think you're right. I think one series was perfect for him, and as much as, like I say, I'm gutted that he left, it was a great thing to have to introduce a whole new era of fans, or at least have a whole new fan base as well, with the old guys that watch classic. I don't mean old in a bad way. Oh, it's fine. It's not like it's live. I can cut it, right? Nah. But yeah, you're quite right. I mean, one series was enough to know and get the Doctor. I mean, I got who the Doctor was straight off the bat with Eccleston, and as much as I would have loved to have seen him in Day of the Doctor, yeah, I agree with that. One series was enough, and I can deal with that. And if I can't, then I'll just go and rewatch it all over again, and it's great. And there's some fantastic stories in there. I just wish they'd gone to a planet. That's my only wish with that. That's what I would have loved to have seen. But I take what I can get, okay? It's fine. Adam Martin is in the house as well and says, the twin dilemma is far from the worst Doctor Who story. Oof. Oh, that is pretty hot. That is quite spicy. I feel like there's some people that would disagree with that. I'm not going to be one of them. Not that I think that it is far. I think it was just the people that played the twins, and I know they get a bad rap all the time, but also Series 8 is the best New Who series we've ever had, hands down. I don't accept straight up blasphemy when it comes to that, because I love Series 4, and that to me is the best New Who series. Series 8 is fine. The only reason I don't really like it that much is purely because I can't gel with Clara. Unfortunately, that is my only gripe with that at all, which is a shame, because Clara and the Doctor, Clara and 12 anyway, do have really good chemistry, and I do like them as a TARDIS team. She just bugs me a little bit, if I'm being honest. Clara's character, oh. I think what it is because with 12, she was always testing him, always sort of testing how far she could go. She was almost like a kid that was testing the boundaries of their parent. you know when you were a kid and you sort of wound your parents up a little bit to sort of see how far you could go when you were just being a bit of a brat that day, or at least I did anyway. Sorry, Mum. And in the end, it was always 12 saying, but we're friends, so why would I dislike you? I think it was even Mummy on the Orient Express. She comes back and she's like, I've had a bit of a wobble. It was a big wobble, but I'm fine. Now shut up and show me some planets. Like, no, you can't just do that. You can't just have a go at him and then decide that it's fine because you say it's fine. Yeah. I'm going to go off. I'm glad you like it. I can't say it's the best series, hands down. I'd be lying to myself if I was to agree with that. On the back of that, Matthew Barlow says the 12th Doctor and Clara had the best Doctor-companion dynamic since the 4th and Sarah Jane. Oh, hello. Sirens. That's what you get living with London. Or living in London, rather. There's always drama on this street. It's great. So, continuing from that, yes. To say that 12 and Clara had the best Doctor companion dynamic since the 4th and Sarah Jane, I just can't agree with. And the reason being is because I just love 10 and Donna so much. Or maybe 14 and Donna when the time comes. But yeah, and the reasons why I can't sort of get along with 12 and Clara, I keep going to say 12 and Doctor. 12 and Clara is for the reasons that I just said as well. I just can't. Their dynamic's great and their chemistry's great, as I say, but I just can't really. I just like TARDIS teams more. 11 and Amy. 11 Amy and Rory. 10 and Donna. 2 and Jamie. Sorry. Better ones out there for me. But I love that you love that. More blasphemy, this time from Hudson Media, who says Series 4 is overrated and the worst RTD series. I'm going to be in your DMs before you know it, Mr. Hudson Media, because we're going to chat about this. Series 4 the worst? Why? I don't know how to react to that. The only way to react is you're entitled to your own opinion, but your opinion's wrong. The Time Lord Victorious is wrong. The Y of Orion, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, I should do, English was meant to be my chosen subject, says Missy is the worst master. What? In fact, someone even underneath it just put, why? And I agree, why? Why would you think that? And I mean that genuinely as well, because I kind of get where you're coming from. She's by no means the worst. I don't think so. I think she's actually one of the strongest incarnations we've had. I just think that she is electric with people on screen. She has that sort of, well, in her words, she's bananas, and that is so right. I mean, there's certain things that I miss or wish I'd seen more of. I mean, for me, Delgado's that go, no one comes close to that guy, you know. But when it comes to the Master and what I look for, I do look for that sort of crazy evil, you know, what's the word, like maniac style, if that's okay to say. I don't want to use words that aren't great, but that's how I genuinely feel. But I love the hypnotism that from a Master. I like those mind games, which she does to a certain extent, but at the same time doesn't. So there's certain things I'd love to see from her, but Michelle Gomez is fabulous, and it's quite scary, you know, when she's in character as the Master, or Missy, sorry. I love it. So yeah, I don't think she's the worst. In fact, she's my third favourite Master or Mistress. Yeah, I love her. Okay, here's one that's going to get that Spiceometer rising, I guess. A bit like in Nando's, you know, where you got that little scale of spice. I don't know, I always go for lemon and herb, so I can't deal with spice. Which one person actually told me was a deal breaker, but that's a whole new video. We don't need to get into that right now. The Hand of Fear Club says Hartnell is comfortably the worst classic Doctor. He's great, don't get me wrong, but he's not better than any of his successors in the classic era. But the guy was the main geezer. However, I know what you mean. I don't think he's the worst, but he's definitely not the best. And I think that comes from just, you know, how different incarnations have come after him, to be quite honest, and just felt more like the Doctor to me. I mean, the first Doctor was, you know, the grumpy granddad, the grumpy old man. Then he became really light-hearted. Then he became a sweetheart, and then but could still do dark, but then could still do, you know, a bit of comedy in there and be serious. Other incarnations that came after him, I understand, yeah. I kind of don't want to agree with that, but I do anyway. Oscar Groucho has entered the chat and says Judi Dench should have been War. Oh my god, wouldn't she have been awesome? Now I don't like the fact that there's a War Doctor. I've never said anything different either. I don't like the fact that that opened doors for other incarnations that we'd never heard of coming in. You know, I think that sort of set the precedence for the Fugitive Doctor and the Ruth Doctor, and whilst I still maintain that I love Jo Martin and her portrayal of the Doctor, it shouldn't have been a thing. She should have been the Doctor to me. She should have had her own series. The Sirens again, what's kicking off on a Sunday? Actually, I'm recording this on a Saturday night, so that's probably why. But I just love that we have, as much as we have John Hurt, the late great John Hurt, and we did have Jo Martin, I don't agree with that. We shouldn't have these sort of doctors. So whilst I would have loved to have seen Judi Dench play the War Doctor, I still don't feel like it was a thing. It should have been McGann or it should have been Eccleston. I'll maintain that to the end. It is a hill I will die on, and I can't see my mind changing. It hasn't changed in 10 years, so I can't see it starting to change now. But I see what you're saying, and it's a great point, and I don't think that's actually that much of a hot take, but I will still include it in this video because I just like it. And then funnily enough, Harry Jordan says McGann should have been the War Doctor. I love that we're still on this. Given the morality of his Doctor, I think the decision to ultimately press the button eating him throughout the special would have been really interesting to see. Plus his banter on screen with Tennant and Smith would be legendary. Wouldn't it just? I would love to have seen him. I know I've literally just said that, but you're right. I feel like his chemistry with Tennant and Smith would have been excellent. And whilst John Hurt did do a great job, McGann made more sense. And I don't think it was an oversight. There must have been a reason. I wish I would have asked him actually when I'd met him. But there must have been a reason that he wasn't in it. There must have been a reason why he didn't play it. Because he would have been great. And even in that short, I mean, that made me love McGann even more as the Doctor. That 7 minutes just completely changed my whole mind on him. So I love that. But yeah, he would have had that sort of, what's the word? I think, in fact, it was in The Power of the Doctor, wasn't it? Where he's like, yeah, I don't do robes. And McCoy comes on and he's like, yeah, there's always one. And I just love that. I feel like he would have had that whole thing. And it was almost like it was kind of written for either McGann or Eccleston, because I can totally see either of them being like, you know, talking about the sand shoes and sort of having to go at 11 for waving his hands around, which is something I do all the time actually. I could see that being written for them guys, and I know that there was a little bit of a thing with the script where Moffat had to tweak it for various reasons. So yeah, I would have loved to have seen him. That would have been great. Okay, we've got Michael Clark, who says something that I'm actually really excited to get into. Sagan Akinola's title music better than any of Murray Gold's attempts. I hope that one's like greater than. Oh, this is reverse, so ignore that. But yeah, so there's a bit of a thing with this where some people are very much Team Akinola, some people are very much Team Gold. I'm both. And the reason why is because I actually don't think the two are comparable at all. I believe that Akinola's music is more atmospheric. It's not meant to be, and I don't think it's intended to be like Gold's. I don't think that's what he was going for at all. Whereas Gold's was more cinematic, I think. Like, for example, if the Daleks were about to turn up, you knew that they were coming because of the music. If the Cybermen were to turn up, you knew they were coming because of the music. And Gold has written some gorgeous tracks, some of which I even listen to now, you know. Every now and again I'll go back to Valle Decem because I love it so much. And there are ones in there that I do love, but then again, I love this, I love some of them from Akinola too. I love the Spy Master. I love the Doctor's theme. Kind of like the Dalek one as well that he came up with. It's just a different kind of music. And that's the gorgeous thing about art. So yeah, I don't actually think the two are comparable, but I understand why there's a little bit of a divide with that. But I love them both. Murray Gold was a bit repetitive though, wasn't he? Let's be honest. Still adore him though. And I'm really excited to see him back in the 60th and for ones beyond. That's great. And last but not least, we have got Jude as well, who has said something quite interesting. So I want to get into that just a tiny bit. It says, 5th Doctor to 6th Doctor is the biggest positive jump in quality between incarnations. That is so goddamn spicy. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone say anything like that. Now, I am not the biggest fan of the 6th Doctor. Nothing to do with Colin Baker. I think he's a superstar and I do adore him. Similarly, I'm not massive on the 5th Doctor, and I've got friends out there who adore him, so I am sorry, but at the same time I'm not. And that's nothing against Davison either. I think he's wonderful. But what I liked about this one in particular was that quality means so many different things, and I think that Jude explains it a little bit further down actually, that then the 5th Doctor is shit in my opinion and the 6th Doctor is fantastic. I think Davison gives an excellent performance. I just hate the way 5 is written, and that's what I agree with. So I think you are, in fact I think Christopher Eccleston actually said it, you are only as good as your writer, and that is evident in some of the Doctors that I've seen. So with 5 and 6, the 5th it just didn't really do anything for me. I know a lot of people love him, and don't get me wrong, I love stories in there like Caves of Androzani, a gorgeous story. I got my Doctor moment with him, don't get me wrong, but I just didn't warm to him. Like, I wasn't gutted when he regenerated. Oh god, some of my friends are going to be fuming at this, but I just wasn't. I just didn't really get it. 6 came along, and I'm not a massive fan, I've just said, of 6 either. But it was so different. It was almost like they saw 5 and thought, how do we make the next incarnation as different as humanly possible, no pun intended, with this. Like I said, quality means different things to me, and I think for me it was the change in personalities for me that did it, and I have realised that I respect them both a lot more than I did maybe 10 years ago. Or 5 actually, I'll give them a fair cop because it's not that long since I started watching classics. So yeah, I can see what you mean, but that's probably just because I have the same sort of feeling towards them both, in that I'm not the biggest fan of them, but we'll still watch them because they are still the Doctor. I can't just discount a Doctor, you know. And I did say that I would give my own personal hot take, if you will. So for me, I even said I would go first because I didn't want to, like I say, ask anyone else to do it and then not even give my own. So my one was slightly written wrong. Okay, I said I love David Tennant. Honestly, I do, but the geezer is overrated. Now, I do not mean that David Tennant is overrated. What I mean is that 10 is overrated. So I feel like I might have to explain it, and I absolutely will. He had sort of special, almost felt like special treatment, and I'd like to say not David Tennant as such, because I think he's brilliant and I love seeing him in all sorts of things, and yeah, he's a pleasure. I've met him, he's lovely, so yeah, I've got nothing against the geezer at all. It's just with 10, I think it's more the romantic aspect. I've said it before, I'll say it again, the only person who gets away with this in any sort of capacity is River for me, which I know some people disagree with, but I just love River. But the fact that there's always a kiss, isn't there? I think the guy has kissed everybody, and that's fine, you know, fair. But there was Rose, that I didn't agree with their romance. I did at the time, but I don't now. Then Martha. Then Donna, although that was sort of funny, that's fine. But still, we had to have that in there. Then Kylie Minogue, Michelle Ryan. I'm probably missing off someone else, but there was always that aspect, and I just don't see why you needed it. I think the only time he didn't kiss someone and his lips actually got a bit of a break was Waters of Mars, but I might be completely wrong in that too, you know. But it was that kind of thing, and I just feel like there's always something. And while I love him, and in fact yesterday I even went and rewatched his regeneration and still got emotional over it. Yeah, that's my hot take. And that's why I think in a ranking video that I did about 1,000,000 years ago, I think I put him like 5th. And it's purely for that aspect, which reminds me, I am going to be doing another re-ranking. I'm not sure when it's going to come. I think it might be in a couple of weeks or so. But that's coming as well. And I'm really excited for that too. So keep your eyes peeled. As always, it is not just about me, it's also about you. So what do you think? What are your sort of hot takes? Maybe they're unpopular opinions, or maybe there are popular opinions that a lot of people do have, but maybe one that you disagree with. Who knows? Let me know in the comments. While you're at it, like, subscribe, do all that lovely good stuff. Follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram if you really want to. I'm just way more active on Twitter, to be quite honest. And while you're down there commenting and liking away, then make sure you also subscribe to the Type 40 podcast. I am a regular guest on there, and every Thursday we get together. There's more episodes on Mondays, Tuesdays and throughout the week, but on a Thursday we will go live, have a great little podcast and talk all things Doctor Who. We love having a laugh while we do it. Your opinion is as valid as anyone else's on there, and we will discuss them and go into great depth sometimes, but they're always a bit of good fun, and yeah, it would be lovely to see you there. So yeah, if you click below, you'll see the link to go and subscribe to that channel too. And until next time, keep yourself super well, keep yourself even more super safe, and I will see you very, very soon.